guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. Hey, Carol freaking Claus. Hey, Nadine. Hey, Aaron. Good to see you. Hey, Thor, Corey, Jaded. Hey, Crazy Mama. Let's see. Hopefully that went off. There we go. Sorry that I'm late, you guys. I think it's you probably expected at this point. Hey, Spicy Sugar. Hey, Punksy. Princess Megan Elsa. Thank you guys for being here. Oh my Lord. What a day it's been. So the trial's actually still going on for today, but we're going to catch up with the last 2 days, yesterday and today. I have a couple videos I want to show. I've got some notes I've taken and an article that I want to read you. Really, even though the trial is still happening right now, it's the only opportunity I have to do this. So that is what we're doing. I forgot that was my picture, Jaded, until I just turned off my camera. Hey, Jules. They're still in session. I know. It is something else. Well, I didn't see it, Carol freaking Claus. Thank you, by the way. Let me see. I got to go back. How come I don't see it? Oh, man, it must have, because it was before the live. Oh, thank you so much. I'll be able to see it after. I'll go in, or you can just type the message and I'll look for it. Thank you so much, Carol freaking Claus. I don't see it either. Sometimes before a live starts, if people are leaving comments, once the live actually starts going, like the first few comments, they get deleted. I don't know. Oh, thank you, Crazy Mama. Awesome. Crazy Mama sent it to me. I don't have my phone, but I will get it and I'll see it soon. Thank you so much, Carol freaking Claus. Okay, so let me share the screen with you. I'm going to quickly go over this little article and then we're going to jump into the last couple days. I just thought this was a good article with not everything that's happened, but some of the things. And yeah, so testimony is underway in the trial of a Border Patrol agent accused of murdering his lover and their young son. Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles is charged with 2 counts of murder for Griselda and Dominic. In a news conference the day after the brutal murders, Laredo Police Department Chief Claudio Trevino said Aviles was identified as a person of interest within minutes, in part because he stayed at the scene and called 911 asking for an ambulance to be sent. And today we heard a little bit about that when she was identified from some of the officers that were there on the scene. So a wrongful death lawsuit filed by Hernandez family alleges that Burgos Aviles began a relationship. Hold on, you guys. I'm sorry. Just 1 second. Okay, sorry, you guys. Okay. A wrongful death lawsuit was filed by her family that alleges that he began a relationship with her while living with another woman with whom he had children. I want to get my hands on that lawsuit. Dominic was born July 26th of 2016. He was a 9-year veteran of Border Patrol and a supervisor at the time. So this meeting was set up by the defendant to rid himself of his perceived problem, the wrongful death suit alleges. Hernandez and her son were stabbed to death. Their bodies were found in a secluded wooded area with an empty stroller and belongings scattered nearby. So day 1, I'm going to read these through what they've got on here. So the jury heard opening statements, and we listened to some of that too, if you guys missed it the night before last. Allegedly, Ronald Anthony lured Griselda and her 1-year-old son to the park. Griselda was stabbed 27 times. Her injuries were to the head, face, chest, back, arms, and hands. And today we learned from an officer who was helping identify her, who said, he went to her family's home and saw a picture of her, and he still couldn't say that was her because it was that brutal. Because the way he just saw her, covered in blood and stuff like that. The evidence will show this baby was being hunted, not by a creature or an animal, but by his own father. A toxicology test was not requested during the autopsy of Dominic to determine the injury to his left thigh. Remember, because he had been injected with something. They met online in 2015, and Burgos met his son for the first time just a couple weeks before they lost their lives. And we went over all of that. He was married with 2 children, ages 10 and 3. And wait, I'm going to show you guys a picture of his son that looks so much like Dominic. Hold on just one second. Hey, Wolfie. Hey, In the Dax. We are going over the last couple of days of trial, which it's still happening right now. I'm sure many people are watching it still, but it's really just the only opportunity that we had to go over it. So day 2, jurors saw surveillance of Aviles arriving home at 10:27 a.m. and leaving his home 10 minutes later on the day of the murder. Griselda's best friend testified that she encouraged Griselda to get a restraining order after he sent her a threatening message. Griselda Hernandez knew little about him and began searching the internet for information and his address to serve child support paperwork. And the best friend talks about that. They actually, that's how they found out he was married. That's also how he found out, because he had told Griselda his wife lived in Florida and they were separated, but that was not true. Cell phone data was extracted from the phones belonging to Griselda, Dominic, and the defendant. Border Patrol agent describes finding Dominic's body in a bushy area near the Rio Grande River. The defense attempts to show that the Border Patrol agent's testimony changed after learning their supervisor was the main suspect in the murders. An unsolicited, tearful response from a witness causes a strong emotional response from the victim's family when he stated, "We're supposed to be the good guys." So that's the rundown there, but I'm going to show you guys a couple videos. So Adriana Flores, that's her best friend. They were best friends since middle school. They got close in the 9th grade, and they reconnected in 2014. She was with her before she went to the park. She brought her baby by, peed, and asked, does my outfit look okay? That kind of thing. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Truth Teller. Oh, yay, Jamie. Hey, Heathen. Thank you, Carol. Did you gift one? Thank you so much, Carol freaking Claus. That was very sweet. And I'm sorry I missed that super chat. That makes me mad. Her best friend tells us that, and we're about to watch some video of her testifying, but she says that he wanted her to get an abortion. He didn't want the baby. She told her she should go after child support. Griselda, like I said, didn't know where they lived. Let's see. And then, like I said, they found them on social media, and they found these pictures. I'm going to show you guys a picture of, this is Dominic in the top. It was like a filter that was going around at the time with little kissies all over it. So that's him. And then this is Ronald Anthony Burgo Aviles' other child with his wife. And they showed this during the trial, and her friends like, yeah, we saw these pictures and we're like, oh wow, they look so much alike, and they really do. Oh, thank you, Carol freaking Claus. I read Crazy Mama's name as I'm reading your thing, and I knew I meant to say your name. So much for being a good guy. Sounds like a slam dunk case. I can't believe it's even going to trial, to be honest. But let's watch some of this testimony together while we have a chance. Let me see what else I sent for us to look at. So we're going to watch a Border Patrol agent's testimony. It's just a couple minutes. We're going to watch a clip of the best friend. But I wanted to show you guys today, they showed, images of where they were found. And this is actually at the top, that's the victim. The stroller was down here. That's one image. And this is graphic, so I'm just going to warn you guys now. This is this is what that officer stumbled upon. It was Laredo police officer Alberto Cortez Jr. And he said he received a call. A woman was down with lacerations to the head, possibly deceased. And he describes, if we have time today, if we don't, we'll watch it tomorrow. He describes finding them, and he also describes that everyone on the scene was distressed. They were, hello, you stumble across this. These flies out here are killing me. A woman and her baby, that is distressing, except for, Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles, his name. Carol freaking Claus is always showing love. You are so true. Every channel I go to, she really does. It's very sweet. Thank you, Carol freaking Claus. You're very kind and generous. I appreciate that. Hola from Mexico, Miss Alex Erickson. Hey, Johnny. Okay, so now let me grab this video. Like I said, the trial is still going. I would say a lot of people are still watching it, but we're going to have to do this now. But I might try to see you guys a little bit later, because I got an email from Claremont County, again, where, Chad Doerman. And the email said, we're going to be sending over another file with additional body cam footage. I did download the file, and I couldn't find it. Like, I tried to find the body cam footage and watch it right before this live. But there are several different things in that file, and I wasn't able to find it. As soon as I'm able to find it, it's still downloading on my computer. I downloaded it on the phone, but I will be doing a live for sure. Okay, so we want to see this. And then, just 1 second, you guys. Sorry about that. It is hot as hell today. Oh my God. Okay. I believe the body cam footage is of Chad Doerman being processed and stuff like that. We're going to start with this one, actually. This is her best friend, and then we'll move to the next one.
Of the mistress and child murder trial. The defendant is a former Border Patrol agent. He was married at the time to another Border Patrol agent with 2 kids, and he had an affair with the woman he's accused of killing. And what's more, he had a child with her too. He's accused of murdering the baby as well. On the stand right now is a friend of the victims. They went all through school together. They had contact on the day that she was going to this park to meet the defendant. We're going to pick up exactly the point where we hit the pause button before the break.
Okay.
What kind of information did she share with you about Anthony?
Wow,
At the
and
beginning, she just told me that he was a Border Patrol.
That was at the beginning. What did you talk to him about Anthony?
Well, when we first talked about him, he was Border Patrol, and that he was separated and that's pretty much what I know of him.
Working with, you know?
No. From my understanding, he wasn't living in Laredo. He worked, he would just come sometimes.
So like he was stationed somewhere else.
Yeah, he spoke like
Do you remember if you tell the whole advise them of the pregnancy?
Yeah.
To your knowledge, did Anthony ever help her with the baby?
Did Anthony ever help her with the baby? No.
No.
How do you know that?
Because she mentioned it to him, and he didn't want anything to do with the baby. Like he didn't want her to go through the pregnancy, so he wasn't helping at all.
When you say he didn't want her to go through the pregnancy, what do you mean by that?
He wanted her to abort the baby.
What was her decision?
She didn't want to. She was going to keep the baby.
So going into 2017, he said I was having financial problems or struggles. In 2017, he said that with the baby in school, financially it's tough.
Yes.
You guys discussed options.
They say here that she knew he wanted to keep their relationship a secret from his wife. I was curious if she knew, because I've heard both. And I still have, I'm still curious if they're still together.
What she should do.
She did. Well, we did talk about her wanting to putting him on child support so she can help herself.
Oh, thank you
I
again,
told her that she should.
girl freaking claws. Thank you. Yay,
So,
Johnny.
at that point in time,
Tiffany, awesome.
did she know before the decision? Did she decide that yes, she's going to pursue child support?
Yeah.
Up until that time, did she know where Anthony lived?
No.
So she did not know where he lived. Here she's going to talk about what I was telling you guys, them finding him on social media.
Did you or her both you try to find out more about Anthony?
Yes.
So tell us, did you help her try to find stuff out about Anthony?
We tried to do our investigation. I can say we would go through social media, Google, see a little bit more about him, just see what we can find out, because you need an address to be able to report for child support.
So as her best friend, you're helping her now try to find this guy. Yes.
Yes.
So you're using social media, like what?
Instagram, Facebook, and Google search.
Any success finding out information on him, family?
She was able to find Instagram and the address on Google.
At this day and age, it's hard to hide anything like that. Hey, Magenta, no worries. The trial is still happening. Hey, West Virginia Jules, I know a lot of you guys are probably still watching the trial. Hopefully, if you miss anything, you can go back, or I don't know. Jaded, how do I make sure I can get gifted? So go back in the chat to the last time. Hey, Eddie, somebody was gifted. And right above that or right below it, there should be blue letters that you can click on, like a hyperlink that says allow gifts. And when you do, it'll turn the setting on. So, this body cam footage with Chad Doberman, just to let you guys know, Melissa Jade has a live at 7:30. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do a quick 30-minute live or something around 8:30, because I think Jen might be going live at 9. But just to upload the body cam footage. I believe it is footage of him being booked, which is going to be interesting, but I don't know for sure till it downloads. And right now on the computer, because on my phone I couldn't find it, on the computer it says there's 22 minutes left. So, okay, back to this.
Now that she had the address, are we talking now 2017, close to 2018?
Close to 2018.
Around that whole child support time?
Yeah, I don't recall the date.
That's fine. What, if anything, do y'all do?
Well, we find out where he lives, and we did pass by his house to see if we can, if he actually did live here or he didn't.
How many times were you, or let me ask you this, how, if any way, did you get to?
Wilby, you know what? I think that's a great point. There are more victims besides the two. His wife and family now have to live with this, and they have to hear this, and his kids and stuff. They, in the future, I'm sorry, but you tell me any one of you guys that had some sort of tragedy like this happen in your life. Even, I think about Summer Wells brothers. like it happened in your family. Let's just say something like this or like that. One of these horrible tragedies happens in your family when you're a child. You can't tell me when you grow up you wouldn't find every little bit of what I wouldn't need to know. I'm back with the snack. All right.
Go to his house.
But
Who was driving?
I would drive.
You would drive?
Yeah. I went like once or twice, and I drove. When I was with her.
Do you remember the color of his house?
I don't remember the color.
Do you remember more or less what part of town he lived in?
Around Shiloh Crossing, I want to say, or Shiloh, off Loop 20.
So did you enter Shiloh off of Loop 20?
Jaded, I totally understand, and I just appreciate you guys being here.
In that subdivision.
You go in there?
Yes. No, I don't recall how to, more or less, but yes, passing the apartments.
Wow, hippie chick.
So that's one of the landmarks there, the apartments.
Yeah.
The landmarks or the things that you
Oh,
I remember
no.
there was a park nearby, and that's it. I don't recall anything
Can
else.
you guys let me know if somebody gifts? Because I really want to be able to say thank you. But watch his face. Great.
Were you ever able to find out if he had a family?
Yes, we eventually found out that he was indeed married, and that the wife actually lived in Burrito.
Oh, why do you say she actually lived in Burrito?
Because at the beginning, when she thought that they were separated or she wasn't in the picture, there was some mention that she lived out of state.
Where?
In Florida, I want to say.
You're right, Wilby.
Were y'all able to discover any information on his wife? Social media on Anthony's wife?
Just her name.
Look at his. Oh my God.
Able to view any photos on her site?
Yeah, we saw some pictures of her children, of his kids. Always denying, like, this is already like fast forward. He denied Dominic, so we just compared the pictures of his son to Dominic, and they were the same. They look very like.
When you say they were the same, you found pictures of Anthony's kids? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we saw a picture of one of his. I don't know if it's his youngest or which one, but there was a baby picture, and it looked so much.
And that is what I just showed you guys, but they're gonna show it again.
Like Dominic.
This is huge, my friends. As you know, he never wanted the baby. That's what she's sharing with this jury.
Hold on just a second. Let me just skip ahead because it goes back to her testimony in just a second. Here we go.
I'm sorry, who's?
Do you remember what name Anthony used on social media?
Roro Avi.
Can you spell that for us?
I think it's RORO, and then Avi is ABI.
So that is his name on Instagram, Roro Avi, ROROAVI. I looked and I couldn't find it. If any of you guys can find it, let me know because I want to see his Instagram. And I would say he would have been arrested and not able to take it down or change anything. So it should still be there unless, I don't know. I would think it would still be there.
Robo Avi.
Hey, Riddler. Again.
What else did you come to learn about the relationship that Griselda had with Anthony?
Well,
How often would they see each other?
they would see each other just once in a while. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. It was more like they just dated once in a while.
Carol freaking Claus, thank you again. That is so sweet. Thank you. And you got, I don't know who got it, but congrats. That's very kind. Thank you guys. You're still looking for a job as a princess. Same here.
Did you ever know how would they communicate?
By social media.
Okay. Do you know how she met Anthony?
All I know is that they met by social media.
But you don't know which social media?
Not what platform, no.
Do you know what type of relationship Anthony had with Dominic?
They had no relationship.
They had no relationship.
In fact, did you ever learn about him wanting to give up his paternal rights?
Yes, he texted Griselda that he wanted to give up his rights.
Did you see that text? Or did she show you that text?
Yes.
I know, and
And you said earlier that you would use social media or you would use Instagram to communicate with them.
I would use Facebook Messenger and Snapchat to communicate with her.
I just want to say all of the witnesses have done really excellent jobs. The police officers, the sister, the best friend. There was a Motorola, Elizabeth Stevens Motorola staff engineer who came on. The Border Patrol uses Motorola radios, and they were talking about GPS, but all of them have done a really excellent job. Lord, that sounds awesome. Hello.
So I'm gonna do your honor to be more efficient with time. I'll show her all the text message printouts we have and have her identify them all instead of having to come back each time. So I'm gonna show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 47, 48, 49, and have you look at 47. You recognize this?
Yes.
Okay. You can look at the next one. 48.
Yes.
Also in 47, there's a couple of other pages. Can we look at it? Tell me if it fairly accurately depicts what's in there, that it's accurate. That you recognize.
Tiffany, that is so sweet. That's an awesome compliment, and I appreciate that so much. Those are the best kind of compliments that you guys could ever give, and I appreciate all you guys. Yeah, you did, Wolfie. Thanks.
That's it.
Yes, I do.
Can you check the next page on 47?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Okay. Now go to 48. You can check 48 and tell me and tell the court that fairly accurately depicts what you're seeing.
Yes.
Okay. And in 49? Is that fair and accurately depict 49?
Yeah, that's me.
That's you?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, he's showing the document to defense counsel there. Typically, you're going to show the documents to opposing counsel first before you approach the witness with them. This way they know what's being shown. Not sure it was done, why it was done in reverse order this time.
Okay. On page 2 of State's Exhibit 47.
Good girl.
This is from who to who?
Wait, where did my sound go?
One.
John doesn't need anyone but you and your family. He has everything. Don't even try.
Dude, what?
In Spanish, and I want you to say it, and then we're gonna wait for a translation. Is that right, Judge?
Yeah.
Okay, so, what slang Spanish word do you say here?
Oh my God. It was in Spanish where he's staying there. Oh, why is the audio doing this right now? This is making me mad. Court TV for 2 days now has had iffy audio. Well, our next witness we're going to watch from Law and Crime. So, and this is almost done. But damn, this makes me mad. You know, I want to follow this. I know it's not popular and I don't care, but it's interesting. And these people deserve the attention that all the other cases get, you know, and that's just that. But dang, it's getting frustrating because you can't find much information. Go to Twitter and search his name, search her name. You won't see nothing. Then go over there and search Brian Koberger and tell me how much shit you see. It is absolutely ridiculous. It really is. I mean, hello, I can't hear it.
So he needs to support financially. No más hasta ahí, meaning.
Better.
And that's that.
Yes,
What else
Joanne.
you say?
John will hurt more having a selfish person in and out of his life.
This is the advice you're giving her?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Really? Yes, Woofy. The court.
Can you clarify for the record? Is this
Oh,
referred to-
Woofy, check.
I don't know. I can't see, and I don't recall if it's.
Judgment approach.
Okay, that's the end of that. We have other things to look at. So let me show you now He did smile today, actually, and I grabbed a photo of that from Twitter. Someone shared. And then we're going to watch this next agent, the Border Patrol agent, who actually worked under him. Oh, man, I thought I grabbed a photo of him smiling. Well, I will put that on my community tab. But just a quick break before we get to our next witness, because I know many of you guys follow all these cases with me that are here right now. Delphi. There were documents dropped today. Shay Benet actually sent them to me. Thank you so much, Shay. But apparently, he told his wife on a phone call that he committed the crime. And she abruptly hung up. And I find that really interesting since we know she was there at his last hearing and saying he's my person. So, I don't know. Okay, now we have enough time. We're going to watch this. This is the Border Patrol agent that I was just talking about, some of his testimony. Hey, MK. Didn't read them, but interested. Well, maybe we can talk about that soon. But like I said, this body cam footage, like I'm sitting here like, how am I going to have time? I've got to show you guys. We'll just have to do it at around like 8:30. And hopefully that'll be enough time to put it out. Or maybe I could put it out as a premiere. I don't know. It has 11 minutes left, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back into this. I'm going to let it play from the beginning because sometimes I enjoy their recaps or the little bits of information we get.
Welcome back, everybody. It is day 2 of trial in Laredo, Texas for defendant Ronald Aviles. Former Border Patrol officer faces the death penalty in a double homicide.
Can I ask for some prayers for Steve, please? His wife cheated on him and his boss is a douche, and y'all are just spectacular like that. Absolutely. I don't know who Steve is, but that sucks. Hey, Jinjoya. Okay, Jamie. Oh, thank you, Ann. I so love and appreciate you guys. I just finished. I know, Jen. I knew they were still on when we started, which really was my only opportunity because I have the kids all day with no help. And then when I get help in the evenings, my friends usually have lives at certain times, and I'm not going to go over them. So I have to squeeze it in when we can. Hey, Shauna. Good to see you. Oh, thank you, Carol freaking Claus. That's really sweet. You guys are the best. Thank you. Oh, Tiff, it was the other Tiffany who had the knee replacement, and she was talking to Nay about it in here. And I hope she's doing all right, but okay.
The prosecutors allege was over child support money. Aviles had a child with 28-year-old Griselda Hernandez. At the time, he was living with another woman with whom he also shared children.
Yay,
In March
MK,
of
that's
2018,
awesome.
Hernandez reportedly served
Hey, Manda Monsters.
documents at his workplace. A month later, police say the defendant asked
Hey,
Hernandez to see
Amber,
their almost 2-year-old
Maria.
son, so they set up a meeting in a remote area near a park. Prosecutors believe that the defendant stabbed Hernandez and the little boy to death on that visit to avoid child support responsibilities. Aviles is pleading not guilty to capital murder charges. The first witness for the prosecution on Monday was the victim's sister, Angela Hernandez. She told the jury she expressed concern time and time again over the victim meeting with the defendant over their frequent conflicts.
And remember, you guys, we watched some of that.
About child support. Hernandez recalled one of those meetings where the baby ended up with a presumed spider bite. But the chief medical examiner who took the stand after Hernandez determined it to be an injection wound from a needle.
Okay, so I missed that. The chief medical, I got to write this in my notes. The chief medical examiner took the stand after her sister and determined it was an injection. See why we need to listen to the beginning and then.
Bradley Dennison from Laredo Border Patrol, he responded to the 911 call by the defendant and described the defendant's behavior.
He was just walking up and down, back and forth, both towards me and then turn around away. He went back and forth maybe about 3 times. And then he proceeded back towards me as the EMTs were working on the female, past them. As he proceeded past me, he sort of scuffed his, I'm sorry, not past me, towards me. past the female's body. He scuffed his feet a few times, and then he made contact with that large rock that I mentioned that was covered in blood. He caused that to roll maybe a foot or two down the road.
And that rock in relation to where the body was?
It was within a couple of feet.
So he kicked a rock that was covered in blood. And then, like I told you guys today, there was an officer on the stand. Alberto Cortez Jr.? There was an officer on the stand that was describing, the identification process. And he went to the home, her family's home, because she was in her sister's car. They find the car. They go to the sister's house. They meet the sister at her house, but first they have a phone call with her. But they get a picture of Griselda. And by looking at that picture, after just seeing her deceased, he still couldn't determine that it was her because it was that violent. And he said her hair, her face, it was covered, she was covered in blood. Oh, awesome, Tinkerboo. Hey, True Crime Crazy. I know. Yesterday, we heard the description of when he did that to the baby. The baby was wearing a shirt, and they brought it into court that with Baby Yoda. I tried to upload a little emoji of Baby Yoda, but and the shirt said, "Lucky I am." It's just so sad. And the shirt, he pulled it up over his face when he committed the crime. So the shirt doesn't have any puncture wounds in it or anything like that. Mrs. M, I lurked here for a while before I chatted. One thing I know for sure is Carol freaking Claus is absolutely amazing. That's really sweet. I know she appreciates that. You guys are. She is amazing, and so are you. Okay.
Of her feet.
Did Agent Burgos inform you that he had found or had in his possession the cell phones of either of the victims?
No, sir, not at all.
Me
Did
too,
he ever
Jen.
at any time inform you that he knew who the
Who
victim's
gifted?
identity was?
No, sir, not at all.
Did he at any time make any statements as to what he thought had happened there in your presence? Yes or no?
No, not in my presence. He never mentioned that he knew her at all or recognized her or anything.
Let's start with that. Philip, how impactful is testimony about how the defendant reacted at the scene? Is it fair for someone to judge his responses when they don't know how he reacts to other things?
Exactly. You got to understand, there is no playbook for human reaction and human emotion.
Oh God, he's a public defender, so we're gonna hear. I have no time for taking up for this piece of crap. I don't even know why he's fighting this in trial. We can hear this out for a second, but just know that I'll be rolling my eyes the whole damn time.
Particularly when you have people who...
You can judge his damn reaction. Yes, you can. Whenever every other person on the scene is distressed, it doesn't matter. The fact is that there's way more evidence besides his reaction. But I do find it interesting, and I definitely think the jurors will find that interesting as well.
The military, peace officers, Border Patrol folks, they're very stoic, solid folks. And sometimes they don't wear their heart out on their sleeves. And they tend to suppress a lot of their feelings and emotions. Not to mention, to be fair to him, he may have been under suspicion immediately once they heard of the connection between both decedents and him.
Well, yeah. He had a baby with her that he had met once, and he was cheating on his wife, and they were both found deceased at his work. I mean, he called 911.
So he absolutely had the right to clam up, and to hold that against him,
Jesus.
I think, is unfair.
I don't know, Will be. I would think so, but I
It
don't
almost
know.
reminds me of Alec Murdaugh lying about being at the kennels. I don't know if that's similar, if you think it's different. Do you think it's going to have the same kind of outcome for the defendant here?
I think it will.
Thank you, Point Oliver.
this
Exactly.
is why. For everyday interactions, we would say once a liar, always a liar. If you're willing to lie about this one thing, why would you not lie about other big things? And Phil will like this one. falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus.
Look at
It's the
this
legal-
baby. This is the one and only birthday this child had because of this man. I don't give a shit about being fair to him. You know, it'd be different if it was up in the air, if there wasn't 50,000 things that point to him. But look at this child. He felt like he had the right to take him off of the earth because he didn't want his wife to find out. Well, she found out now, buddy. And your kids know that they had a sibling that is no longer with them because on this earth because of you. Look at him. He's absolutely precious. That is so sad. I don't understand. Look at his little fat roll on it between his hand and his arm. Is there anything cuter than little baby fat rolls like that? How in the world do you take it, like, do what he did to him? I mean, not to be graphic, but just to remind you guys, he took a knife, stabbed him in the sternum with his face and a shirt, with his hand over a shirt over his face, and then cut his main arteries in his neck. How do you do that? And yeah, so please forgive me. I don't give a shit about being fair to this man.
Concept of if you are false in one thing, you are false in all. And it applies to everyone, witness, defendant. And so if you lie about a little thing, I think it's going to make it that much harder for the jury to believe him on other things. Because if he's saying, oh, I don't know this woman, I just came across her being
Aww.
dead. And now you find.
Woofy. That's so sweet. Thank you. I love you so much. You mean the world to me. Thank you. I know, Marcus. That's exactly the way I feel. Oh, Woofy, I love you. You're the best.
That you had a relationship with her, that there was child support, that there was all this stuff. The question becomes, why are you lying about that? And the general, basic, probably easiest answer is because he was hiding a murder. He did not want law enforcement to know his connection to this woman, to this decedent, because he wanted to hide his motive and the fact that he murdered her. Now, is that true or not? I don't know, but a lie definitely doesn't help to prove otherwise.
But interestingly enough, we've seen defendants take the stand and admit to lying and lying before in the past. It doesn't mean they always are convicted. It's very fact intensive. It's just because they might even admit that they were lying or they're caught in a lie. Jury holds it against them, but not all the time.
All right, hold on a second. Yeah, they're switching. I want to pull up this part of the testimony from Alberto Cortez Jr. And this is the one who showed, when they showed those pictures I showed you guys. Oh, I love you too. Thank you. He was contaminating the crime scene. Yes, he was. Kicking rocks around and stuff. I mean, okay. Hold up. I'm finding it. I really want to show you guys this part, but let me see. It's hard to mark timestamps because when I found it, it was still going. Oh, this is the guy that cried and said we're supposed to be the good guys. All right, let's watch part of this then.
Good afternoon, sir.
We have about 20 minutes after we get trained. Then, when I have a chance, when I get back, we're definitely coming to watch that daggone body cam footage, which is downloaded. Yay! Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. All right, well. Deputy Greer is his name, and Corporal Myers. So we got 2 body cam clips and a booking photo and stuff. Okay. Sorry. Back to this.
You're sworn in, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I have your honor.
Please, sir. Have a seat right up here.
Thank you, sir.
Get comfortable.
Duties and responsibilities. My responsibilities are to deter terrorists and terrorist weapons from coming into the United States. Yes, I was.
Were you a supervisor?
No, I was not.
I want to go back to that day. Where did you report to that day?
I reported to the Laredo North Border Patrol Station.
What time was your tour?
My tour started at 6 in the morning and it lasted till 4 in the afternoon.
Were you present for muster that day?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And well, did you get assigned an area that day?
As far as the area, my duties that day were to pretty much take care of 4 new hires, 4 new recruits that had been barely employed and were about to go to the academy. So my job that day was pretty much to take care of them at the old Border Patrol Station on Zapata Highway. It's for the South Station. We call it Old Base 7. My job that day were to pretty much take care of them while they get sworn in.
So kind of field training?
Yes, I was a field training officer. Still currently am.
Carol freaking Claude.
I'm still a field
Just a
training officer
Coke,
right
no
now.
rum. Hey, Truth.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a new recruit with you that day?
Yes, sir, I did.
What's his name?
Johnny L. Smith. Team leader told me to pretty much start training my new recruit, my new field training, my trainee, Johnny L. Smith. He told me that he would take care of the new hires and for me to go to the field and commence his training.
Okay. Are you familiar with someone by the name of Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles?
Yes.
How are you familiar with him?
He was my supervisor on that particular day.
Okay.
The
Do you
supervisor.
see him in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Point out an article of clothing that he is wearing.
Black coat with black, maybe a silver tie.
The resting
Silver
bitch
shirt,
face,
sorry.
you know, that one.
Reflecting he's identified Ronald Anthony Burgos.
Oh my God, Riddler! Wow.
Now, you say he was your supervisor that day?
Yes.
Did you have any contact with him prior to going to Father Maxwell Park that morning?
Only at muster. He didn't give muster, but he was present at muster.
What happened at muster?
We show up, they give the actual field agents their assignments for that day. And I believe whether it was the supervisor leading muster or the watch commander asked them if they had anything to say. I remember him speaking that morning. I think he gave us some words of things to do. I forgot what it was as far as their duties. And that's how I remember him that day, that he was present at muster.
Mm-mm-mm.
Been your supervisor previous to this day?
Yes.
How long had you worked under his supervision?
He knew exactly what he was doing that day. So you got to think everything he said and did, you know, was for a reason.
How many times?
I guess as far like I remember exactly when he became a supervisor, but however long he was a supervisor,
Look at him. Oh my God.
however many years or months he was a supervisor prior to that day, April 9th, 2018.
Now, I want to
Can't
focus your
stand the
attention
look
to
on
when
his
you arrived
damn
at
face.
Father Maxwell Park. You remember arriving there?
Yes, I do.
You remember how it's a complex, correct?
Yes, it's pretty big.
Do you remember how you gained entry into the park?
On that particular morning, we came in through Lowry. We went west, and at the entrance of that park, that certain area to the soccer field, there is a gate to the left. And that gate on that particular morning, it was open. So that's how we gained entry into that area that we call the soccer fields.
If I can ask him to step down now just to show the jury his location.
Thank you.
I'm going to hold this up for you. This black pen mark where you entered the park, you said on Lowry. Yeah.
There's gates up to this area.
Show me an arrow. Oh, draw an arrow. Okay, put your initials above that. Okay, and can you show us where the gate is?
The gate should be somewhere around this area, sir, as well.
Okay.
On the phone.
Yeah, draw a line where you think the gate is.
Make sure as soon as you take a left, there's a gate right there.
Okay. From here, where did you go?
We went south, and at the time there was a Conex spots here. That's where we parked in this little parking lot area. We reversed into that.
Is it in here?
Yes, this area.
Okay. So you can put a P there or
Yes.
where you parked. Okay. Did you reverse into this?
Yes, I
area?
did. My truck was facing east into the neighborhood.
I'll put your initials right there. Okay. And how long were you parked there?
No more than 5 minutes.
What were you doing?
We were going to make some maps that I had assigned my trainee that morning. He did not complete the mission over the weekend, so we were going to
Definitely had an agenda. You guys. Hey, Carrie.
Were you supposed to be in this area?
Not initially, no, sir. We ended up there by sheer coincidence.
Okay. The time that you were there, did you end up moving your vehicle at any time after parking it?
Only after, at the time, Mr. Bood was asking for my assistance.
Skip a little
I parked
bit.
the truck on this side and I parked directly across it.
Okay, so this is without marking it.
Yes.
There's two markings here, which is general area to cut to.
Through here, there's a dip.
Uh-huh.
And then once we get to this area, at the time there was a bunch of brush and trees. There's still is, but at the time we came to this dip, I remember I went around. I was one part.
Yeah.
When I came to his assistance, I saw his truck on this side. I parked directly across.
So he saw his truck over here and he parked directly across.
This is without marking it.
Yes.
There's two markings here, which is the general area where these vehicles were.
Yes.
You remember this island?
Yes, I do. So I would have parked there initially when I came across.
All right. That's all for now.
Yes.
See, laminating maps. What, if anything, is laminating?
To do that, more than 5 minutes later, my trainee Smitty says, "Hey, there's another kilo coming in." So it's a Ford F-150.
What happens?
I look over, see the kilo driving on the same lorry, it's driving west, and it kind of slows down as it comes to us, and we eventually find out it's Mr.
Carol freaking calls about the documents.
Yes, after he parks to, I guess, our passenger side.
And what happens next?
We call it, he slow rolls to us. I'm facing the neighborhood. His truck is facing, when he parks to our passenger side, his truck is facing the river. We lower our window. He lowers his passenger window. And I go ahead and tell my trainee, "Hey, it's Supervisor Burgos." And at that moment in time, he's grabbing onto his steering wheel and he's just looking over quietly, kind of just like leaning over. And I told my trainee, "Hey, it's Supervisor Burgos." I tell him, "Hey, sir, we're here to be shorthanded. We're going to be in the area if you need it. We're just going to be laminating maps." So he's quiet and he looks at his phone and then he says, "Hey, they just told me to 22, base 2, which means go back to the station." And he's like, "Do you know there's a way out this way," which means south?
At the soccer field?
Yes, it's towards that Pettis property where I guess there's that road that goes to an ATV trail.
To the front.
Yes. So I told him at the time I did not remember. So I told him, to be honest, I don't remember. And he's like, "It's okay." I was like, something to the effect like, "That's okay, I'll go find out," or something like that. So when he leaves, we raise our window, and then I told my trainee, like, "You know what, Jimmy? I just remembered that they're building apartments. I think that area where he's trying to get out is blocked." So I'm like, "It sucks to be him. Let him find out the hard way." And we continue doing our thing, laminating maps.
Look at him. Oh my God. You just reek of evil.
We continue laminating maps. He's cutting the maps. I'm trying to
Spilling out of him.
laminate them with the packaging tape. And no more than a minute and a half, less than 2 minutes later, we hear him over the actual radio. And when we hear "Lada," something to the effect like, "I need you." That's Lada, get over here. So as soon as I hear my name, Lada, with some urgency, I drop what we're doing and we drive across the soccer fields to his position.
You hear him calling for help. You arrive on scene.
Yes, when I get to that dip, we hit it pretty hard. Everything flies all over the place, and I can feel my tires slipping. It's like not enough traction is going. So I hit it pretty hard. Like we come around, and as I get around the brush, the ATV trail, I could see on the other side where he's parked. I can see his overhead lights, his red and blues. So he's parked like in a circular area. He parks on the other side, and I park on the opposite side of him. That's where I eventually meet up with him.
That's what they showed us on that map.
Go ahead. Show you what's been marked. Recognize the CD?
Yes.
Have you been able to hear the transmission from that day?
Yes.
Are they going to play that? I think they do.
But when he says that Lada November, his star number, that pretty much says Lada star number copy. That means, do you copy me? Do you hear me? So yes.
They play that you can explain any of the codes or whatever it is.
Oh, and he hit you. They played it. Okay.
Stand by, just last minute. We're trying to see if it's a head operation or.
Hey, Yorkie. What a monster. You're so right. Oh, Carol freaking Claus. Thank you. I'm going to have to buy you a gift. I know, Mrs. M. Me too. It's awful.
All right, so you heard what channel are you all on?
Here, let's see here. Because we're skipping around a little
We
bit.
go across soccer fields. We hit the dip. I get enough traction to get over. At the time, Mr. Burgos is parked on this side with his kilo truck. So I go ahead and park on the opposite side. So eventually when I'm trying to make my way to him, I see him looking down south towards the ATV trail. That's when I look over and see the silhouette of the victim.
At any time, do you aware of another kilo unit coming also arriving in parking?
Wow.
After the fact, it was Agent Dennison.
Okay, so it would have been.
At the time, it was just him and myself.
Okay, but so after you got there before Agent Dennison.
Yes.
So if you could indicate where you would best approximate Burgos' kilo unit was when you arrived, your kilo unit.
I'm gonna skip
Uh,
through this because I want to
this
hear it and I
time
gotta
and-
go in.
All I heard is that he called me. It's not
And don't worry, we are going to continue this. I think that I will have to schedule the lives later after the trial ends, and that's just going to be that. We may have to go back to 8:00 lives. But don't forget, if you're watching Chad Doberman, be here tonight around like 8:30. I need to double check with Bendy and make sure of what she's got going on, but hopefully I can get them out pretty quickly.
urgent, so my job is to get there as fast as I can. So I park there, I'm looking over towards him, and that's when he's outside of his truck looking south, the ATV truck.
South is towards me.
Yes, towards the Pettis
He's
property.
outside
There's a
of his
house over here,
truck.
a landmark that we refer to as the Pettis property.
Looking
So when I get there, he's looking south. So I look south and I see the silhouette of the young woman. So I completely forget about Mr. Boodles and I start running towards the victim.
Is off this island, where would the victim's body be more or less?
Somewhere in this area.
Yay, Amber.
'Cause it's
Thank
island, so
you.
we're going to run right
Somewhere
here.
around here?
Yes.
So then what do you do when you see the victim?
Yes, Mama, the
As soon as I see the
gladiator.
victim,
Gladiator, you should.
I approach and I start yelling, like, Señora, señora, despierta, está despierta. Ma'am, wake up.
Back at you.
So at this time, all I see is blood. I told my trainee, I call him Schmitty. I like, Schmitty, is that what I think I'm looking at? And I see the silhouette and I immediately start running towards her. And that's when I tell him, like, I start yelling at her, está despierta, are you awake? So at that time, initially, right away, I said, sir, do you have any gloves? Which he said, no, I do not.
Who did you say that to?
Initially, I asked Mr. Burgos, do you have any gloves? He's like, no, I do not. So I say, I don't have any gloves.
Yay,
And I asked my
Anna.
trainee, Schmitty, do you have any gloves? And thankfully, being the great agent he was, he did have a pair of gloves. So he goes ahead and tells me, like, sir, I have gloves. So I take them both. I grab one and I give one to Mr. Burgos.
Thank you, Karen.
I put the glove as best as I can, immediately check for a pulse. I don't feel a pulse. Before anything, I'm radioing everything into, initially, before I even touch her, I radio everything into our station, base 2, and I'm telling them what we're seeing.
I want us to hear this for as long as we can. So like 5 more minutes, I'm going to listen and let it play without trying to pause it. But Ann, I'm definitely going to set a thing as soon as I get off my live, as either right before I leave or while I'm waiting on my son from football practice. I will schedule the live, put the thing up. And then the problem with YouTube is they don't put out multiple notifications a day for a channel. So if you got one for this, you might not get it for that. So you might have to press set reminder. Like you might see it come up in your news feed and press set reminder.
Yes.
Take the stand. I think this is good for now. Take the stand. Thanks. Continue. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you.
So continue. You're radioing in the intel that you have, right?
Yes. Radio in that we have a female. I'm not sure at the time. I think I tell them, let me see if it's a laceration or a head wound. All I know is that I'm seeing a woman covered in blood. There's blood on the ground. So I tell them to stand by. I put on the glove as best as I can. I look at my fingers and they're covered in blood because I checked their neck area. So I don't feel a pulse. So I immediately see her left wrist. It's facing up. I check her wrist. And again, I do not feel a pulse. Right away, I tell Mr. Burgos, sir, I think she's 10-7, which means that she's dead. And he's like, yeah, it looks that way. So I'm radioing everything into our station and I'm letting them know what I'm seeing. So I told our station, we have a female that appears to be deceased. And I'm telling them the blood to the top of her head, to the left, to the body. There's blood splatter all over. The blood's a little bit coagulated. And at that moment, the supervisor at the station, I believe it's Supervisor Ali, tells me, okay, take a step back and treat it as a crime scene.
What is Burgos doing at this time?
At this time, he's standing
Dinner
there.
lover, they weren't very close.
Not
They
really.
weren't very
The supervisor
close
normally
either.
takes control of the situation and radios in everything to the station. Once again, he's quiet. I'm the one relaying everything that I'm seeing to the station. I'm processing everything in. I'm taking it in. And I'm telling them what I'm seeing. And right away, I start telling the camera operator to start scanning the river. I tell them, scan the river, see if you see anybody going back. Scan the Mexican side on the ridges, see if you see anybody out there. I hear the boat patrolling the area. And they ask if we want them to come to our area, which I tell them, of course, come up. Try to check the landings where they come up, try to see if you see any tracks, any sign, any mud. I believe also a helicopter pilot reached out to us over the radio, and he asked if we wanted them to give us a flyby. I believe at the time they were coming back to Laredo to refuel. So we tell them to go ahead, please come into the area. And the impression that I got from the pilot at the time was that he's fairly new because he did not really know where the Pettis property was. So I do remember I told him, come fly south of the river until you get to what's called the CPNL, the Central Power Light Company. And I told him, if you come south, eventually you should see all the vehicles, overheads or whatnot.
So you're giving all these transmissions. You already checked for pulse.
Yes.
Does Mr. Burgos do anything around this time?
Not at that time, no, sir.
What else do you see him do at any time? At any time did you see him touch the body?
After I sent my agent Schmitty to go to Allen Street in Bristol to open the gate for the paramedics, I believe he took my truck. So for a moment there, we're by ourselves. After that's when I see him move the body.
Okay, and when you say move the body,
Wow.
demonstrate for us for the body down here. Demonstrate.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor.
I can hardly hear him. We're going to pause here. We're going to catch up with everything else that we've missed. If you guys missed the beginning, definitely go back because we went through a lot of really good information from witnesses today, from witnesses yesterday. Yeah, the video is sped up. I had it sped up. I'm sorry about that. I wanted us to get through as much as we could. Yeah, with no gloves, and yes, he did. I just wanted to say, Patricia, I'm really happy to see you. I know last night, I don't know much about that case, but I know that I don't think anybody was trying to be offensive, just trying to discuss the thing. But regardless, I'm happy to see you because we can agree and disagree sometimes, which I don't have a huge opinion on that yet. I want to watch the documentary, but I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to go get my son from football and then make sure of what else is scheduled for tonight. And then I'm going to upload these new body cam and stuff. And I hope to see you guys there. I'm really excited to watch them with you. So if you're following Chad Doerman in that case out in Ohio, definitely don't want to miss it. But anyways, thank you guys for being here. We're going to follow this all the way. Let me share the video we're watching now in case you guys wanted to finish this before we come back to tomorrow for an update or whenever we do. Thank you, Woofy. Love you too. Love you, Nay. Love all you guys. Let's see. Aiden Fucci is evil, but Natalia Grace is just a child. Well, I saw a picture today with her front teeth missing, so that makes me, think that's kind of interesting. But anyways, okay, I got to go. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'll see you soon. I hope you guys have a great night, and I hope that you follow along with this case with me. Okay, thank you, mods, and thank you, everyone who gifted memberships, and Nay and Carol Claus, and yeah, I think that was it. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.